There are fighters in this sport, and then there is Amanda Nunes. Her name does not simply sit in the history of women's MMA, it transforms it. When fighters talk about Amanda, they don't use normal descriptions. They compare her to things that are unstoppable and unforgiving. Hurricanes, wildfires, predators. They talk about what it feels like to stand across from her in the cage, how her presence does not feel like a fight, but like an event you survive. They talk about her eyes, steady and calm, the calmness not of peace but of someone who knows exactly what she is about to take from you. This is the story of what fighters mean when they reveal how savage Amanda Nunes really was. Amanda's path didn't come from comfort or privilege. She was born and raised in Pojuca, Bahia in Brazil, a place where success was not expected, and struggle was not something dramatic, it was simply daily life. Her mother worked in education, her father was a carpenter, and the conversation around money was always short because there wasn't much to discuss. She didn't enter martial arts because she grew up dreaming of fame or world championships. She entered because fighting was the first place where the world did not feel like it was pressing her down. It was the first place she felt like she had gravity of her own. She started in capoeira, a martial art that blends rhythm and dance. But inside Amanda was not rhythm. Inside her was something heavy, thunderous, direct. When she stepped into jiu-jitsu and boxing gyms at 16, it was like something inside her finally found shape. Coaches say that the first time she hit pads, they had to reset their stance. She didn't punch like someone learning. She punched like someone releasing something. And everyone around her knew it without needing it explained. Amanda didn't train to keep up with others. She trained because something inside her needed to be pushed forward, unleashed, sharpened. When she began fighting professionally, she started in smaller organizations. No cameras, no massive arenas, no media attention. Just her and whoever was placed there to try their luck. From the very beginning, the pattern was the same. Amanda did not fight cautiously. She did not wait or measure. She moved forward like that was the only direction that made sense. She didn't fight to win by points. She didn't fight to win by decision. She fought to end you. Her strikes were not just powerful, they were purposeful. When she threw, she meant it. When she took you down, it was not to hold you there. It was to finish what she started. You could see it in every movement. She was not here to play the game of strategy. She was here to impose something absolute. But even storms have limits, and Amanda faced hers early. Losses to Alexis Davis and Kat Zingano exposed something that had nothing to do with strength and everything to do with pacing. Amanda would explode early, dominate the opening rounds, and then her gas tank would drain. When her body slowed, her defenses faded. And when that happened, the fight could slip through her fingers. Critics didn't hesitate. They said she didn't have the conditioning. They said she didn't have the discipline. They said she would never last at the top. The insult was always the same. She breaks when it gets hard. A weaker fighter would have believed them. A weaker fighter would have adjusted to fight safer, smaller, softer. But Amanda is not built like that. Instead of crumbling, she took every criticism and used it as material to rebuild herself. She didn't just work on cardio. She rebuilt her training philosophy, her pacing, her discipline. The savagery stayed, but now it had patience. Now it had calculation. Now the storm did not burn itself out. It sustained. Once Amanda solved the endurance problem, something terrifying happened for the rest of the division. Now fighters weren't just afraid she would knock them out quickly. They were afraid that she could beat them whenever she wanted. You can hear it when fighters talk about her. They don't say, she hits hard. They say, she hits different. They describe a pressure, a density, a power that does not feel normal. Not sharp like a fast punch, not stinging like a jab. Her punches feel heavy, like a collision rather than a strike. Multiple opponents admitted that after they fought her, they felt her power not for minutes, not for hours, but for days. This was not wild aggression. This was predatory control. Amanda cut off angles, timed counters, and stalked forward like she was watching prey trying to escape. She didn't rush. She didn't gamble. She simply closed the world around her opponent until there was nowhere left to go. The world understood exactly what she had become on December 30th, 2016. Amanda Nunes versus Ronda Rousey. Ronda was the golden figure, the face of women's MMA, the unstoppable judo wrecking machine. She was expected to return that night and reclaim her legacy. Amanda was supposed to be a stepping stone for the comeback story. The invitation was written, the script was prepared, the promotional hype was already coded into the broadcast. Amanda did not care about any of it. The fight began, and Amanda walked forward like she had been waiting for this moment her entire life. Her punches did not come out wild. They came out final. Every strike she landed looked like it carried a message. Not, I am better than you, but your era is over. Ronda stumbled, tried to reset, tried to regain her footing. Amanda didn't allow it, not even for a moment. That fight lasted 48 seconds. In less than a minute, Amanda erased an entire mythology. But the most powerful part was not the knockout. It was what fighters said afterward. They didn't describe technique. They didn't describe strategy. They described their presence. They described the feeling of someone who fights without hesitation, someone who does not care about your reputation, your status, your name, or your history. Someone who looks at you and sees only one thing, a target. Amanda didn't just beat fighters. She broke the will of those who stood across from her. And that is what makes her savage. Not just power, not just skill, but the intent, the decision, the understanding that if you are locked in that cage with her, she is there to end you and she will not hesitate. After the Ronda fight, everything changed. Amanda didn't just become a champion, she became the person fighters hoped they would avoid. Her name didn't just represent greatness, it represented danger. And when fighters talked about her, they didn't talk about game plans. They talked about survival. They talked about trying to stay calm in a cage with someone who did not fear them, who did not hesitate, and who did not blink. Amanda had reached a level of control that was frightening. She didn't waste any movement. She didn't chase. She didn't need to. She was patient in the way a predator is patient, the kind of patience that comes from certainty. Then came the fight that would cement her legacy forever. Amanda Nunes versus Chris Cyborg. Before Amanda, Cyborg was the monster, the fighter everyone whispered about, the fighter others avoided, the fighter whose power made even champions cautious. If Amanda was a storm, Cyborg was a wildfire. This was not just a title fight. This was a collision between two forces that were used to breaking others. Most believed Cyborg would overwhelm Amanda the same way she had overwhelmed so many before, but Amanda did not walk into that fight as the underdog. She walked in like someone who already knew the outcome. When the fight began, Cyborg came forward aggressively, throwing power shots. Amanda didn't back up. She didn't hesitate. She met fire with fire. The difference was precision. Amanda's punches were shorter, sharper, cleaner. Cyborg swung with force, but Amanda struck with direction. Each strike from Amanda landed exactly where it needed to. It wasn't just violence, it was targeted destruction. When Amanda connected, Cyborg's expression changed. That moment, that split second, is where fighters say they truly understand who their opponent is. And in that moment, Cyborg knew Amanda was not just powerful, she was heavier, she was final. And then, just like that, Cyborg fell. The unbreakable was broken. The unstoppable was stopped. After the fight, Amanda didn't scream. She didn't run around the cage in celebration. She simply raised her arms, calm and collected, like she had simply done what she came to do. And fighters noticed that. They noticed how normal destruction looked to her, how chaos didn't affect her heartbeat. Being a double champion wasn't the important part of that moment. The important part was what it meant. Amanda didn't just hold two belts. She held the truth, that she had defeated the greatest threats in two divisions and made it look effortless. Very few fighters in history have ever done that. Even fewer have done it with that level of control. Then came the era of defending. Holly Holm, Felicia Spencer, Germaine de Randamie, Megan Anderson, Juliana Pena. Each fight had its own challenges. Each opponent brought a different threat. But the impression from those who stepped into the cage with Amanda remained the same. They didn't describe being overwhelmed by speed or confused by footwork. They described being outmatched in presence. Fighters said that being trapped against the cage with Amanda did not feel like a tactical situation. It felt like being hunted. They said when she walked toward them, it felt like the space behind them disappeared, like the cage walls closed in, like the air got heavier. They said there was something about the way Amanda looked at you. Not angry, not emotional, just certain. Certain that you were going to break before she did. And yet, even the greatest are tested. Juliana Pena was not supposed to win when they fought for the first time. But on that night, Amanda was not physically her best. The pressure, the timing, the sharpness, it wasn't there. This happens to every champion with a long reign. The margin between invincible and vulnerable is paper thin. And when Amanda lost that night, the world was shocked. But Amanda didn't make excuses. She didn't hide. She didn't disappear. She came back. And the difference between the first fight and the rematch was absolute. In the rematch, Amanda didn't fight emotional. She didn't swing wildly. She didn't try to prove she was stronger. She fought like a surgeon. Every movement was deliberate. Every strike was measured. She didn't just beat Pena, she dismantled her, piece by piece, moment by moment. It was the performance of someone who had nothing left to prove to anyone but herself. And when she reclaimed her belt, she didn't look relieved. She looked complete. What separates Amanda from most champions is not just her power or her skill. It is the understanding that fighting is not only physical, it is spiritual. When fighters talk about facing her, they don't say, "She hit me hard." They say, "I couldn't stop her." They say, "It felt like she was still strong in places where others break." They say, "She didn't hesitate, ever." They describe someone who did not just attack their body, she attacked their will. Amanda didn't fight for fame. She didn't fight for validation. She fought because fighting was the place where she felt the most honest. And that matters. Because fighters who fight for attention eventually crumble when attention fades. Fighters who fight for legacy eventually tire themselves chasing perfection, but fighters who fight because it is their nature, those fighters last. Those fighters endure. Those fighters leave marks no one can erase. When Amanda retired, she did it on her terms, with her belts, with her pride, with her name etched in history. She didn't wait to fade. She didn't wait to be figured out. She didn't wait for time to weaken her. She left while still feared, still respected, still unmatched. And in the end, that might be her greatest victory. Because no one can rewrite what she did. No one can undo the fear she placed in opponents' hearts. No one can erase the nights she turned champions into shadows. The word savage is not about violence alone. It is about the willingness to go where others will not, to take what others hesitate to reach for, to keep going when others slow, to dominate without apology. Amanda Nunes was not great because she had power. Many fighters have power. Amanda Nunes was great because she made power inevitable. She made it permanent. She made it certain. And when fighters speak about her now, they do not tell stories of technique or strategy. They talk about the feeling of being hunted, the feeling of being overwhelmed, the feeling of standing across from someone who does not doubt herself for even a second. That is what makes Amanda Nunes savage. That is why her legacy will not fade. She didn't just win fights, she ended eras. She didn't just dominate opponents, she took away their confidence. She didn't just become champion, she became the measure, the standard, the one everyone else is compared to and falls short. Amanda Nunes did not just leave a mark on MMA, she carved her name into the foundation of the sport, permanent, unshakable, undeniable. She was and remains the Lioness.